Oh my god. Oh wow, the whole time I was listening to the music and I was vibing with the music. I was vibing with the music and I thought did I do anything stupid in front of the camera? I hope I didn't. How come you guys didn't tell me? How come Will had to tell me that I was just Oh man, my bad. Hey, I meant to show this. This was what I was trying to put this on. And this is my intro and that's why the music was playing though, right? At least the music was playing, I think. So I'm sorry guys. I don't know. I don't know. Whatever. It's fine. Then we're doing it live. Now when the stream when replay crew comes, they're gonna have like what 30 no a minute and a half of me staring at the screen. I'm sorry. Hi guys. Good morning to people on the West Coast. Good afternoon to people in the Midwest and on the East. This is TNT Joe-Fi Tech News. I'm so sorry. I feel so dumb. This is tech news that Jerome Ortega finds interesting. This is episode 56 or 57. I don't really know. Um, but hey, I just wanted to say hi to everybody who's already in here in chat. Levin's in here. I see Brian as well. uh Will's the one that says, why are we staring at you? Because I thought the title screen was up and it's all good. I see Cole in here too. Hey Cole, what's going on, guys? Guys, again, welcome to the stream. Glad you can make it. If you guys haven't already, please feel free to like the video. It does help me in the algorithm somehow, some way. And yeah, if you haven't subscribed, feel free to be a subscriber. But let's get down to it. Let's talk about what's going on. Who caught the OnePlus 8 series event? Did any of you guys catch it? Because I watched it from beginning to end. And so if we're going to talk about the event in general, I even tweeted about it. I thought the event was pretty good. The presentation was pretty good. And I think a big reason that presentation was good was there was no audience. So in a lot of these events, the things that throw me off with these launches or whatever is the audience sometimes the presentation, people are trying to show off and do these like performances and whatever, and then there's that weird part where the audience doesn't know if they should clap, so they pause and then they clap, and then it's awkward and it's cringy. And this time nobody was there, and I felt like they did a better job. There was no weird musical guest or dance performance. It was, segment after segment, they had their little video clips, and I thought that went pretty well. So I liked it. I thought the event, had a good flow to it. As far as the OnePlus 8 and the OnePlus 8 Pro, that's a different story. And we'll talk about that. We're going to dig into that today. I don't know how long the stream is going to be. It's probably not going to be the whole hour, because all I want to do today is talk about the OnePlus 8 and OnePlus 8 Pro. If you guys do have questions about it, we can talk about that. We can have a conversation about the phone in general. But I have a couple news stories just to go through about the OnePlus 8 and the OnePlus 8 Pro, give you my thoughts, my feelings, see if it's worth your money. I'll tell you right now, I don't think it's worth my money. I think the starting price for the OnePlus 8 is $100 more than it should have been. So the OnePlus 8, well, we'll get into it. So let's share the screen here. And the first article, God, I feel so dumb with with just staring into the screen for a good 2 minutes. Okay, this first article is from Anantech, talking about the OnePlus 8 and OnePlus 8 Pro. OnePlus announces OnePlus 8 and OnePlus 8 Pro step up 2020 flagships. Okay, so as the world is in quarantine, smartphone companies aren't standing still and are still moving forward with their new product launches, which we've seen today, just about an hour ago. We've seen almost every other company on the market release their 2020 flagships, but one important vendor has been missing from the lineup: OnePlus. Today, the company is finally revealing its newest OnePlus 8 and OnePlus 8 Pro phones, offering improvements and technology advancements at the highest levels. The one thing that I was actually surprised about with the OnePlus 8 and OnePlus 8 Pro is their different screen sizes. I actually thought they were going to be the same screen, or at least the same screen size display. Maybe one was going to be, FHD plus, and then the other was QHD plus, which is what we saw. But I actually didn't think there were going to be two different sizes. Particularly, the new OnePlus 8 Pro seems to be the company's most prestigious flagship device ever, including a new QHD plus 120 hertz display, a new generation 1/1.7-inch camera sensor from Sony, along with interesting ultra-wide angle and telephoto modules. This is a thing that kind of struck me as odd too. All these little extra cameras that I don't know if they're even really going to be that useful, but we'll dig into that. The company's first time adoption of wireless charging, which is great to see. All new features on top of the existing ones that made the OnePlus 7 Pro a great phone in 2019. Here are the specs, but we're going to dig into that a little later. Starting off with the internal hardware, it's a surprise to me, or it's a surprise to no one, to see the new OnePlus 8 series being powered by Qualcomm Snapdragon 865 chipset. Right. No surprise there. We were expecting that. Great to know that they're on both phones, that they're not skimping on the performance. Alongside the chipset's excellent performance and high power efficiency is the key feature that it brings 5G cellular capabilities to both variants of the OP8, thanks to the X55 modem, which is also another story. Yes, they both are going to have 5G, but there are some distinct differences, especially here in the US. Although both variants sport the same chipset, OnePlus is amongst the first companies actually taking advantage of the Snapdragon 865's ability to support LPDDR4X and LPDDR5 DRAM standards. The OnePlus 8 comes with LP4X, while the higher OnePlus 8 Pro sports the new LP5 memory. Actually, that's good. I didn't realize that. So one has the lower variant of RAM, the other one the higher, the LPDDR5. I wasn't aware of that. Qualcomm had divulged that they're expecting a few percentage points performance differences between the two technologies, along with possible smaller efficiency differences. In terms of capacity, both variants come in either 8 or 12 gigs of RAM configurations, depending on whether you choose 128 or 256 gig main storage options, which, by the way, remains at UFS 3.0. So if it looks like if you wanted a 12 gig configuration of, if you wanted 12 gigs of RAM, but you were fine with 128 gigs of storage, that's not an option. I saw that the pricing difference is $100. So for more RAM and for double the storage capacity, you're going to be, or you're going to have to pay an extra $100 on top of that. The designs of the phones are iterative on last year's OnePlus 7 Pro aesthetics, with the big difference being in the front camera design choice and mechanism. And I do want to talk about that too. Is I think OnePlus is doing a disservice to what it could have as a standout feature, which is that pop-up camera. I feel that this punch hole thing is a cheap way out. Maybe cheap way out is not the best way to put it, but I feel like if they really wanted to stand out, if they really wanted to, I think that might be a deal breaker for some people, is this punch hole camera or a notch. I think people would rather maybe have a bezel even, but if you gave that pop-up camera, which gave a full front screen, I mean, people who have the OnePlus 7 Pro are sticking with the OnePlus 7 Pro because they don't want a punch hole. They don't want a notch. They don't want a bezel. I think that's a great addition to a phone. Yes, we've talked about that. There are issues, or there might be issues that could be had with, a mechanical pop-up camera, or things getting into it if, it does pop up. But you want to be different. You want, I mean, I think a lot of people were really, heralding how good a pop-up camera is, how it took away from the whole, aesthetic of having a hole in the front or a notch or anything like that. That completely removes that. It completely removes the issue of us talking about notches and holes all day. It really does. Anyway, we'll continue on. We'll go back and talk about that again. The OnePlus 8 Pro makes away with the mechanical front camera mechanism in favor of an in-screen hole cutout, a design choice that's been made quite popular over the last year and seemingly the quote standard for 2020 devices. Whilst I'm sure some people will be sad to see the pop-up camera go, I personally was never a fan of it given the increased bulk of the phone. See, that doesn't make a difference to me. I would have rather had that than a punch hole. In the new OnePlus 8 series, the company has been able to instead increase the battery capacities, which now go up to 4510 milliamp hours on the OnePlus 8 Pro and 4300 milliamp hours on the OnePlus 8, and in more camera and bigger sensors, and still reduce the weight of the phones by several grams, with the new OnePlus 8 Pro now coming in at 199 grams. On the OnePlus 8, the company didn't do major changes to the display characteristics compared to the intermediary generation OnePlus 7T. Both phones still share an FHD plus displays with 90 hertz refresh rate. On the new OnePlus 8 Pro, however, the company spared no expenses as it has now opted for 120 hertz QHD plus AMOLED display. So watching the event, the display looks great. It's nice to see them really go all out on the display. But I still think, yes, you've taken the time. DisplayMate gives it all these whatever ratings it wants to give it. It's funny how they're touting DisplayMate for its display, but they don't talk about DxOMark for its camera. And I wonder why, if there's a good reason for that, and maybe because the camera still isn't what it needs to be, even for a flagship phone. But again, we'll go through that. OnePlus claims the display is capable of displaying 10-bit color. It says, which, if true and without FRC, means that this is the very first Android smartphone to include the feature, easily outdoing Samsung in terms of display capabilities. So we're gonna, I'm not gonna go through this whole thing. It's a pretty in-depth article here, but I do want to just point out the things on this phone, the prices, the specs, and see if it's worth it. See if it's worth it. At least to me, I don't really think it's worth the money. Not at this price point. I think OnePlus has kind of, took an audience that they had, and is kind of separating from them and is saying, "Hey, you know, we're a bigger company than these budget phones that we used to make. Yeah, we'll make a budget phone one of these days, but it's not going to be the best." And you know, I remember when we used to call OnePlus the flagship killer, and in a lot of rights they were, but I don't know today. So the OnePlus 8 and OnePlus 8 Pro differ quite a lot in terms of their camera capabilities. The cheaper OnePlus 8 comes with just two, quote, real camera modules, a standard wide and ultra wide. And here the hardware seemingly didn't change all that much from the OnePlus 7 Pro. We're still seeing the widespread IMX 586 main sensor alongside with a 16 megapixel unit for the ultra wide, although with very slightly changes optics this generation. So yeah, I was actually surprised to know that the OnePlus 8 and OnePlus 8 Pro were having two separate main shooters. I still thought that the OnePlus 8 would have had the same shooter as the OnePlus 8 Pro, but I guess that would have been the bigger differentiator. I guess people wouldn't, people would say, well, it has the same camera sensor, so I'm just going to buy the OnePlus 8 instead of the OnePlus 8 Pro. Again, I think that's a disservice to consumers who don't want to spend a ton of money, which is why you came to OnePlus in the first place. And now you're asking them, hey, you want the better camera? You got to fork up 200 extra bucks. I don't like that kind of thinking. I don't like that. I think of I mean, yes, the Pixel 4 and Pixel 4 XL were overpriced, right? But at least they were still the same specs on a phone. You could still get the same phone with a smaller display size. Again, these are their marketing. This is their marketing way to get you to spend more money. I don't agree with it. I really wish companies would just do a better job at offering us the best at, a fairly decent price. But people are going to sit here and complain and say, well, it's still cheaper. It's still cheaper. Sure, it is still cheaper, but I still don't think it's worth the money. I still think it's $100 more than it should have been. Price the OnePlus 8 at $599. I think that would have been a better deal for sure. Not only a better deal, but you're pricing it at $699, and it's going to have the same main shooter as the OnePlus 7 Pro, really? Or at least a similar version of it. It's not going to be, I don't know. You're paying more money than for, a better chipset, a newer phone with 5G. I don't know. I don't think it's worth that extra cost. So, frankly, every phone I've encountered with such a dedicated macro module is pretty much a disappointment, as the quality most of the time ends up atrocious. In essence, the phone just only has two true rear cameras. Excuse me. Yeah, I don't see the big deal with this macro shooter or this color filter. I haven't used it personally, so this is just me saying it out of speculation, but I don't know if it's going to be the greatest thing in the world. The OnePlus 8 Pro's camera setup, however, is more impressive and certainly more on par with what you'd expect from a 2020 flagship. OnePlus is amongst the first vendors to make use of Sony's new IMX689 camera sensor. This unit differs from the IMX686 that we've seen employed in a few phones this year, in that it isn't a 64 megapixel sensor, but rather remains at 48 megapixels, all while still growing in sensor size from a half-inch diagonal to 1/1.4-inch size. This increases the pixel pitch from 0.8 to 1.12, effectively increasing the pixel area by 1.92 times and almost doubling of light gathering ability of each pixel. Again, a lot of technical jargon here. The proof is in the pictures, and I found a couple articles or a video that shows camera comparisons, or at least camera samples from the OnePlus 8 and OnePlus 8 Pro. We'll kind of go into that because I don't know how much I'm going to be able to see technically, because they're not even images. It's just from a video, but it would be nice to see. It would be nice to see if we can at least spot the big differences and see if these night shots are even going to be comparable to other flagship phones like the Pixel 4 and the iPhone 11 Pro, which are the two top camera phones, in my opinion, that I've used. Um, so it says here the new custom sensor also offers dual gain converters for dual analog native gain ISO levels. Again, a lot of technical jargon. I don't want to spend time talking about all that all day. So there is an ultra wide angle. OnePlus here makes usage of a 48 megapixel sensor, which is, as far as I know, the first phone with this kind of configuration. So not only are the main shooters different on the OnePlus 7 and OnePlus, or not only are the main shooters different on the OnePlus 8 and OnePlus 8 Pro, but the ultra wide sensor camera is also different on the OnePlus 8 and OnePlus 8 Pro, if I remember correctly. And we'll actually dig into those technical specs. So OnePlus's weakness in the camera department over the last few years has always been on the software front, with the image processing always ending up quite lackluster compared to the competition. Again, I don't know if this is going to be the the same thing we're going to see this year. If the camera's still not going to be on par, if it isn't, I'm going to talk shit about the phone. The phone is going to be great as always with what they're good at, like performance wise, a clean UI, battery, and now the display. Looks like they're all going to be great features of the phone. Build quality, whatever, but the camera is still the main selling point for a lot of people. It is one of the main selling points for me. the OnePlus phones have always hit such good marks, in my opinion, as far as, a stockish Android experience, performance wise, like no lag, and price. And then the only thing that was kind of blocking its way was a camera, but I don't know. So now price and camera are the things that I'm wondering about. So other features of the phones include stereo speakers and an under-screen fingerprint scanner. Both phones come with up to 30-watt wired charging, but now OnePlus was able to finally add in wireless charging in the OnePlus 8 Pro, even doing so at 30-watt charging speed. It's been a feature that was much requested over the past several years, so it's great to finally see the company add this in. Both phones come in 3 different colors: Onyx Black, in a glossy finish, Glacial Green, which is my favorite, seeing that with additional colors of glossy Interstellar Glow for the OnePlus 8. I'm not going to lie, I saw that Interstellar Glow for the OnePlus 8. I'm like, I would rock that. I would rock with that phone. I really would. I think it looks kind of cool. I think it's different, and different is always good, especially if it's done right. And I mean, it looks good for the OnePlus 8, and a matte ultramarine blue for the OnePlus 8 Pro. So the OnePlus 8 again is starting at $699 with 8 gigs of RAM, 128 gigs of storage. You're going to pay an extra $100 for 12 gigs of RAM and 256 gigs of internal storage. And then the OnePlus 8 Pro, $899 for 8 gigs, 128, and then $999 for 12 gigs and 256 gigs of internal storage. To see them charge $999 for a phone is it's weird to see OnePlus selling a phone for $1,000. The OnePlus 8 series are available for pre-order in Europe starting right now, with open sales starting April 21st. Whilst in the US, open sales start on April 29th. The OnePlus 8 starts at $699. Well, we've already talked about that. So let's actually kind of dig into the specs here. Again, here's that Interstellar Glow color, which I think is pretty cool. The one thing again that surprises me is the difference in display. Where the OnePlus 8 Pro has, I'm sorry guys, I'm just trying to increase the screen here. The OnePlus 8 Pro has 6.7 inch screen, 6.78 inch screen versus a 6.55 inch on the OnePlus 8. Again, this is my gripe here. I really wish OnePlus took the time to make or continue making their pop-up camera. If they really wanted to stand out, I feel like that would have been a huge differentiating factor. Now they're just in the mix again with all the other phones using a punch hole design, a notch design, or having a bezel on the top. If they really wanted to stand out, they could have done the pop-up camera. I don't know, maybe they saw something, maybe they saw writing on the wall where it said, hey, the mechanical build of this isn't going to, outlast so-and-so years. But yeah, I don't care for it. I'm disappointed that they took some technological approach with the OnePlus 7 Pro and, gave it finally something unique where you would look at it and be like, oh, that's an awesome feature. Now the screen doesn't have to worry about this hole or whatever. And I mean, if you ask me, they put that punch hole there not because they were worried about mechanical build or whatever, but because of cost. I think this was the cheaper way of doing it, and they could profit more if they put a punch hole camera on the front. That's my assumption. I could be wrong, but a lot of companies, their bottom line for a lot of these things is money. Is how much profit can we make out of it? Yeah, and then as far as the display goes, the only thing that right is the display on the OnePlus 8. It's not as curved as the OnePlus 8 Pro because that curve is like it's way curved, and I already can see myself messing up using that phone again with accidental touches because that display is curved so far down on both the sides. I don't think the OnePlus 8 is curved as bad, and I think would act better for preventing accidental touches than the OnePlus 8 Pro. That is not my that's not how I would have liked the phone to be, which is again, I don't know. I think it's a con for that phone. I think it's a downside. For people who don't have that issue, then maybe not. Maybe it's just something where again, it does look more aesthetic. It looks more modern. I said that yesterday. It looks more 2020, but I wish they hadn't gone that route. So performance wise, it's great that they're using the same chipset. I didn't know until I just read that article that the OnePlus 8 Pro uses LPDDR5 RAM, while the OnePlus 8 just uses LPDDR4X. I don't think that's going to be the biggest performance breaker in the world. That shouldn't be a reason that you buy one over the other. I think performance-wise, they're both going to be great, so I wouldn't worry too much about that. The OnePlus 8 Pro, though, does have a bigger battery, 4510 milliamp hours versus 4300 milliamp hours. Again, a big reason for that, though, is probably the QHD screen on the OnePlus 8 Pro versus the FHD on the OnePlus 8. And then again, the OnePlus 8 Pro does have the fast wireless charging, the 30-watt wireless charging. But let's not forget this 30-watt wireless charging. In order for you to take advantage of it, which is a great thing to have, but in order for you to take advantage of that entire 30-watt wireless charging, where during the event they said it can charge from 0 to 50% in 30 minutes, which is awesome. Let's not forget that's proprietary. So if you want that, you have to buy a proprietary you have to buy a proprietary wireless dock from OnePlus, which is, what is it, $75, $80? So factor that in to your price if you want a wireless phone, or if you want that wireless feature. If you're buying a OnePlus 8 Pro because in your head you're telling yourself, no, I want that phone because it has fast wireless charging and I don't want to plug up anymore, which is fine. That's a great reason if you don't want to have if you don't want to charge wired anymore. But remember, not only are you going to be paying that $899, that $900 price tag, now you're going to add another $75 in there. So now you're paying close to $1,000 to take advantage of that feature. To take advantage of the feature that they put in there, you still have to pay an extra $75. So don't buy a OnePlus 8 Pro and then brag about how it's a wireless phone, like it can wirelessly charge faster than your iPhone 11 or Samsung Galaxy S20. Don't brag about that if you don't buy that dock, because then now you didn't pay $900 for a phone. You paid $975 for that phone. Like, let's be real. You're paying extra money to get that feature. They're giving you that feature on the phone, which is wonderful, but you're going to pay extra money to use that proprietary dock. Unless some third-party company comes up with something. I don't know if they will, but even if they do, I don't know how the safety standards are going to be with it. You've seen how some of these third-party companies release, like, fast charging, super fast charging, but they might not be following the same safety standards as OnePlus is doing with their proprietary hardware software. So again, the main sensors on the cameras are also going to be different. The IMX689 for the OnePlus 8 Pro and the IMX586. They're both 48 megapixels, but I think there are big differences when using both of these sensors. The ultra wide angle shooter is also different. So it's a 48 megapixel on the OnePlus 8 Pro with a wider field of view at 120 hertz versus a 16 megapixel. And then I've said this before, megapixels don't matter. It's really the quality. I mean, we can talk about all of these bullshit technical specs, but really the proof is in how these pictures look. And there's a video that somebody put out, and we're going to go through that. I haven't really seen it, I just kind of skimmed through it, but we're going to see if it actually makes much of a difference. So autofocus, I didn't know this either. So this is a multi autofocus with an all pixel omnidirectional PDAF, LAF, CAF versus just PDAF and CAF. So as far as video, they both do 4K at 30 and 60, 1080p at 30 and 60. There's no 8K here. So, if you were looking for that, like on the Galaxy S20 or the S20 series, you're not going to find that here. So super slow motion. So it does 720p at 480 frames per second. Well, no, it does it too on the OnePlus 8. 1080p at 240. Okay, so they just, for some reason, they both do the same super slow-mo is what I'm saying. Time lapse, okay, same thing. So again, so it also has a telephoto lens, right? Which can be beneficial, obviously. I don't know anything about this color filter lens. I don't know if it's actually going to be something that's going to be used. I need to see how that works in real life. I mean, I don't know if it's just an extra bullshit lens they put in there to kind of, add into the price. Yeah, but you're going to get a color filter lens. Yeah, but how often am I going to use it? Is it really something that's worthwhile? During the event, they said to bring out your artistic whatever. Isn't that what filters are for in the first place? I could be wrong. I don't know. Maybe this does something that, other cameras can't, but I have yet to see. I would have to check, videos or other people showing examples photo wise if they are. Now, the OnePlus 8 has a macro lens, which again, I don't know. I have a macro lens for Moment, those add-on lenses, and I never really use it. I mean, again, using an additional snap-on lens isn't the most convenient thing in the world, so I don't really carry it with me. But there aren't many times that I'm looking to use macro on my camera phone. Okay, before I head on to the next few articles here, I'm just gonna go through chat. So hey everybody that's joined, thank you for joining. If you guys haven't already, please feel free to like the video. Liking this video helps in the algorithm, I think, somehow. So if you can, please feel free to do so. If you haven't subscribe. I stream daily, Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. around 12 p.m. Central. So but I do appreciate you guys stopping by. Appreciate you guys engaging in the chat. So yeah, Levin says the event was very good, too expensive in my honest opinion. I feel the same way. Yeah, you guys are also agreeing the pop-up camera would have been better. Will says the same thing. Will says DxO, they didn't cash the check. Yeah, that's probably why there's no word about DxO here, but I actually think there's nothing about DxO because they know that their camera probably isn't on par with everyone else. So Mureldahar. Sorry, man. I'm trying to pronounce it. I'm doing an awful job. I'm butchering it. I'm sorry. Mureldahar, thank you for joining the stream. I haven't seen you in here, I don't think. If I did, I'm sorry, but I don't remember the name. Still no IP rating. There is an IP rating for the OnePlus 8 Pro. It is rated IP68. Here's the interesting thing though is I think there is an IP rating, or at least they're claiming an IP rating on the OnePlus 8. But I think it's only carrier based. I think I have the article, but we'll get into that later. Yeah, so I don't know. Dunelli back again. Hey, what's going on, Dunelli? Welcome to the stream. I'm glad you were able to stop by and make it. Appreciate you stopping by. Yeah, Dunelli says macro lens is pretty fun. I mean, yeah, if you can find a use for it, I don't know how good it's going to be on this OnePlus 8, if it's actually going to be worthwhile, but if you can find a use for it, that's awesome. I mean, again, it's not for me. It's not something that I've used specifically, maybe one of these days, but I do a lot of photography work, and macro photography isn't something I really mess with. It might be something fun though, especially with like, obviously a lot of people do macro shooting with flowers, or like insects would be cool, I think. But yeah, I don't know. So let's see here. Yeah, Will says the price is too high. Brian says, I wonder if the 8 has the unofficial water resistance. I think it does. If you ask me, I think it does. Will says that color filter is whack. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that works or how you would use it. I see Mint Arcade. Hey, Mint Arcade. Did I say hi earlier? I don't know. I'm losing track. But Mint Arcade, welcome to the stream again, man. Glad you could make it. You missed me earlier at the beginning of the stream when I was just staring into the camera because I didn't know that I was just staring into the camera and not playing the title screen. Anyway, welcome to the chat. I see Javier here too. Fuck, I'm late to the meeting. It's okay, Javier. If you just heard me earlier, I for the first 2 minutes of this stream, I thought the title screen was on playing the music, so I was just kind of dozing, like, or staring into space or staring into the screen, even though it was filming me, until Will pointed out, why are you staring into the screen? I was like, God damn it, I don't have the title screen up. Anyway, Javier, welcome to the stream. Glad you can make it, man. Yeah, Will says I'll stick with my Pixel stand. I have a Pixel stand. I don't even use mine. To be honest with you, I don't my iPhone 11 Pro is wireless charging. My Pixel 4 has wireless charging. I don't use wireless charging. I still keep wired for all of my stuff. I have a Pixel stand. I don't even use it. Also, because it's slow. So maybe if I had a OnePlus 8 Pro, that would be great. But again, you'd have to buy that proprietary docking station, which costs $75. So again, it's a lot of money. Okay, so let's see here. Sorry, guys. Again, just going through chat, just seeing what's up. Jerome, you can watch TK Bay to see what it does. The macro lens. Oh, okay, yeah. I'll have to check that out. I'll have to check that out. Or are you talking about the color filter lens? So Will says here the color filter. There's a video on The Verge about it. Okay, I'll have to check those out because I'm not sure. Oh shit, I lost my spot. I'm sorry. Oh, for the color filter. I gotcha. To me, it feels like OnePlus 8 Basic is good enough. Yeah, I mean, I can see that. I just $699 is for me personally. I think it's $100 too much. I think I would have loved to see it at $599. Oh, it can separate colors and keep it in the background, black and white. It's dumb. Okay. I don't know. I guess I'd have to see. Hackney man, what's up? What's up, Hackney man? How's it going? Welcome to the stream. Glad you can make it. We're just talking about the OnePlus 8 and OnePlus 8 Pro. Obviously, it's the big news for the day. I kind of wanted to share my thoughts on it. I have already. I'll kind of summarize it towards the end here when I'm finishing up. But glad you can make the stream, man. Appreciate you stopping by. So let's see here. Denelli says macro is just an extra fun feature that's a little niche but distinguishing from other phones. Fair enough. I mean that's a good point. I mean, again, it's like the telephoto, it's like the ultra wide. Not everyone uses it, but if you can, why not? So if they can put that in there, if it actually is good, then why not? I'd love to see it, right? But I want to make sure it's good. I don't want it to be there where it's like, it's okay, and it's like, yeah, it kind of does the job, but really, what's the point? Then that's a different story. Yeah, Javier says you honestly can thank Qualcomm for the price hike. I know there's a lot of people talking about that, especially just with the whole 5G thing. I don't know. So Gandex says, I don't worry about the price. OnePlus devices always have the highest resale value in the future on the Android side, like iPhones. That's good to know. And that's actually a really fair point. So if you want to spend the money and you know that the resale value is still going to be worth it, then sure. Like, I totally see your point there. I mean, for me, I still feel like, hey, I still don't want to pay X amount for it. But if you know that you're going to get your money's worth, that's more power to you. That's you using the power of your wallet, right? So I hear you. But Gandak, welcome to the stream. Appreciate you stopping by, man. Appreciate you engaging in here too. So yeah, Cole says that additional color lens is such a waste. I get the macro lens, feel like it's more useful. Wish the regular 8 had wireless charging. Yeah, I think a lot of people do. Really, what they're doing here is they're dividing their market share, their market base, and they're kind of having people now question, well, should I spend that extra $200 or whatever? I don't know. It's a I don't know. I have my own thoughts on it. Brian says here Qualcomm can eat a dick for these price hikes when we need price reductions. That's hard to refute, especially when Apple's about to come in here and release a phone for $400. Yes, again, it's an older design iPhone, but it's going to have, great performance, and hopefully it's going to have a great camera. But I guess we'll wait and see. So, okay, guys, let's continue on here. So, OnePlus 8 Pro camera. Here's why Sony IMX689 sensor matters. Again, we're talking about how the OnePlus 8 Pro has a different sensor than the OnePlus 8. So the OnePlus 8 Pro has a IMX 689. I think the OnePlus 8, if I remember, has an IMX 586. Still weird for me to see that they're actually separating the main shooters. Typically, even with a cheaper version or they're both flagship phones or supposedly flagship phones, but they're actually changing the main sensor on the camera, which is, I don't know. That's really confusing for me. So again, you're really dividing people up here and saying, well, you want the better camera, then you need to spend the extra money for the extra $200 for the Pro. So I'm not going to go through this whole article. I just want to see what they're talking about when it comes to why this sensor is so good. At first, the sensor produces an unprocessed image, which the phone then decides how to improve. It includes adjusting the highlights and shadows, fixing the white balance, tuning contrast and saturation, and making small fixes if needed. Without this processing, images out of a camera will appear rather unpleasing. Okay, we're just talking about image processing here. So I want them to explain why the IMX 689 works so much better. So it brings us to the OnePlus 8 Pro, which sports a new Sony IMX 689 image sensor. Let me make this a little bigger for you guys. And now it loses my place because, yeah, okay. So this sensor was exclusively developed for Oppo, but the close association between the two companies has led OnePlus to equip it on its latest flagship. It is one of the biggest image sensors available for smartphones currently, spanning 1 over 1.43 inches diagonally. Only the Huawei P40 Pro and Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra have bigger image sensors and are also significantly more expensive. They also have a higher resolution than the OnePlus 8 Pro. So the OnePlus 8 Pro has a quad array on the back. Okay, this didn't tell me anything. I mean, maybe I missed it, so I'm sorry, guys. I just, apparently this IMX 689 is supposed to be like the big badass of the sensors. Maybe not so much in terms of versus the P40 Pro or the S20 Ultra, but I won't know until I wish I had this phone. I wish I could afford this phone so I could test it myself and do an actual real life photo comparison and give you guys my thoughts on it and how it comes up. But I don't have $900 to spend. All I can do is kind of go over what other people have seen. And if I can one day get my hands on it, that would be great. I would love to really test it and then say, hey, remember that phone that came out a year ago? Well, now I got it because I got it for $200. But for now, we can just kind of go through like things like this. So I have okay, so this is an 8 Pro, just an 8 Pro. And I think this is an actual video that I saw from another article I did. So I don't know if I really want to go through all of these. I would rather go through like a comparison with the 8 and 8 Pro, which is another video that I do have. So actually, let's kind of skip this one. I mean, we can go back to this if it actually seems pertinent. But so here's a video that I kind of found where it's comparing the 8 and the 8 Pro. Um, and like, so again, I think the big thing to point out here is a lot of these photos during the day are pretty much going to be comparable. I don't think you're going to see much of a difference in terms of quality during the day. Maybe a little more refinement on the 8 Pro, but I wouldn't know unless I was able to crop in and show that kind of detail. But I'm kind of curious. Well, so even looking at that, right? Like looking at this, the quality, the detail on the 8 Pro, oops, sorry. The quality here on the 8 Pro seems to stick out already. There's just it seems a lot more detailed, a lot more focused isn't really the word, but you know, a bit sharper on there. And I don't have to zoom in or anything. You can just kind of see it offhand. Could it be a little of the image processing as well? It could be. They could be maybe sharpening it a little more, giving it a little more like of a punch. But again, I can't do these tests without being there and doing it myself. So it's hard to tell. But um, again, looking at most of these photos though, looking to see what they offer. I mean, they both look pretty good, right? Um, okay, this is using Zoom here. It's not much. Again, see, I mean, even here at this, oh, this is wide angle, huh? So in a wide angle version, god damn it. So let's see, is this right? This is wide angle. Oh, it's a selfie. Actually, that's selfie. I don't know. They look pretty comparable. It's really hard to just like go through all of these without having to. It's harder on a video than actually going through the actual photos. Oh, okay. So video, um, ultra wide. This, I mean, oh god, yeah. That stabilization was a little off there. But see, the stabilization. So the stabilization is good, electronic or with a combination of electronic and optical or whatever. But yeah, it's ooh, there's a bit more jitter on the OnePlus 8 than the OnePlus 8 Pro. I mean, you can already see that here too. Um, it's not by much, I don't think. Maybe it's in more like when you're moving faster, but no, there's jitter too on the 8 Pro. It's still not bad, but it doesn't see. I'm looking at this and I don't know if this compares to like my iPhone 11, my iPhone 11 Pro. I really don't. I don't know if this stabilization is any better. Again, I won't be able to test it until I have this phone and am able to use one. I mean, it's not bad. I think the stabilization is pretty good for what it is, but I don't know if it's on par with, the higher end phones. There is a little weird jitter here and there. And that's something that I think iPhone has perfected. They don't really have that kind of weird do you guys know what I mean by jitter? It's just like this real like quick shake and it kind of happens here and there and I think that's either when you're either moving left to right, back and forth. Um it can't decide, I think, in its processing and I think that's an issue. Okay, this is 4K at 30 frames per second. And then the selfie cam. Selfie cam is pretty stable. That looks pretty good. Okay. I want to get to night shots because I just want to see how these perform at night. Okay, here we go. So going through something like this, just right off bat, you see there's a little more, it's a little more exposed here, right? It's not by a lot. The shadows are a little popped up more, but so this black isn't as deep because they're brightening it up a little bit, but it's not bad. The color temperature is a little different here too. This looks more on the cooler side. This might be more realistic, maybe, but this looks more appealing to see. I mean, you can see here too by the windows. This is more detailed than what you're seeing on the OnePlus 8. Brighter shot, pretty similar. See, okay, here. So this is the 8 Pro, right? This is the 8 Pro versus the 8. And right away, I'm already liking this 8 better than what this 8 Pro is because I feel like it's really trying to push things up here in such a way where you're just getting this orange haze. Do you guys see what I'm saying? Do you understand what I'm saying here? I don't know if see, so there's less overexposure on the 8 Pro than here, but this looks more natural than what I'm seeing here. This is like it's like there's just an orange light, hanging around. And this is what the Pixel 4 is notorious for. And something that really bothers me on the Pixel 4 because now it doesn't really look like night. It looks more like, hey, I got this orange halo light behind me or this orange spotlight, and I'm just going to put this down so, it kind of resembles night, but it kind of doesn't. Sorry, it's just playing through the next one. Okay, so you can see the difference here though in a much darker. Okay, this is ultra wide, that's why. So in ultra wide again, and so I think that last shot was it nightscape, I guess. In ultra wide, you can see that this sensor is way better than what the OnePlus 8 gives you, but this isn't anything special either. This isn't this isn't such a great shot. This isn't a usable shot. You're not going to take this picture and then post it on Instagram. So I don't, yeah, is it better? Yes, but I don't think it's, yeah. Okay, well, for this, what is this? This says here 4K 30. This obviously has a much better view and then ultra wide. So there's no night, whatever in ultra wide, but it's still a brighter shot. You can see that for their main. Yeah, okay. And zoomed in, that looks pretty bad. Okay, so this is Nightscape again. These are both Nightscape on ultra wide, and you can see here that this is such a great addition, though, for OnePlus. I will say that it's great that they were able to add a night mode to their ultra wide camera. I think that's a great benefit that beats the iPhone here. I'll say that it can beat it there because the iPhone's not capable of doing so. Um, okay, we'll go on. So this is the main shooter. Yeah, this actually, so this is the first time this looks really good compared to the OnePlus 8. Look at how soft the trees are. Look at the lens flare coming out of here. This is much more stable. Has this is a good night shot. Again, I don't know how this night shot would fare versus my Pixel 4 or my iPhone 11 Pro. I don't know if it would beat it, to be honest with you. And I only say that from personal experience, but it's something that I would have to test if I had my hands on one. But it does look like a good night shot. It's definitely a good night shot. Yeah, you can see that here too with the selfie. Um, this has a lot more detail. This is a lot more soft. I don't really do much testing with the selfie cameras. Maybe something I should do, but yeah, I mean it was better, wasn't by a lot, but see these look similar. And I don't think this selfie camera is that great at all anyway. Okay, indoors. So look at this in see, I'm looking at this indoor shot right now, and these are both the main shooters. This on the left here, yes, there's a little overexposure here. This is a lot more in focus, but there's also this weird haze. Do you guys see what I'm saying? It kind of washes out when this is more natural. I think this is the sacrifice that you take or that you have when you're doing something like this. When you're giving a better sensor that's trying to grab more light. Okay, so this is with Nightscape on. Yeah, this is it's a brighter shot. No, it's obviously a lot more focused. Like look at the background noise here. This is a lot clearer. There's a lot more in focus overall. Color wise, I don't know what's more accurate because I'm not there, but yeah, no, that's not bad at all for a nightscape shot or a night mode shot. This is a great shot too, for the selfie. This one's really nice. I like that. Main shot. See, this is all washed out. See, a lot of it is washed out. This is washed out on purpose, I think, to push up the shadows. This looks so much more in focus, or this looks a lot sharper than what I'm seeing here. This looks like a filter was put on here, like a, one of the vintage filters or whatever. And that's coming from the main shooter. This one's good. That's definitely more focused. I mean, obviously these are coming up with a lot more sharper images. But again, with Nightscape, you are putting this weird look at what is this from Wally? Or is this Short Circuit? No, this is Wally. If you look at this is a lot more sharp than what you're seeing here. Again, this looks like a filter is being applied to this night shot on Nightscape. God, I wish I had one of these phones just to test it out. Yeah, look at okay, let's leave it there. That's a lot of going through it. I'm not saying that it's a bad camera. Um I just don't know if it's I don't know. I don't know. Let me get to chat here, guys. Sorry. So it's I'm just trying to wrap my head around the price and what the camera offers and if it's worth it. So let's see. I see Will saying you got 15 days, Jerome. I think Will saying just buy it and then return it. Uh, I don't know though what the restocking fee or whatever is on it. Levin says we might need to wait for the OnePlus 8 Pro T for the price to drop. Yeah, you're most likely right. I don't think that's going to be dropping anytime soon. Sorry, I didn't scroll all the way up. I'm not going to be able to go through all of this either, guys. So Gandex says, I wonder how the shutter speed is. That's an annoyance I have with OnePlus compared to the competition. Shutter speed being too slow is that what you're saying for night mode or for night shots? Because I know that at nighttime I get a lot of blurry images and stuff, and I don't know if the shutter speed is just slower than what other phones are giving it. The marketing would be weird since the 7 Pro has no punch hole, so the average user would see that as a better phone overall. Yeah. Yeah, Brian says that orange glow is not great. It's not something that I'm looking for either. Six says Pete Lau just sent the cartel to Jerome's house. Hey, Six, how's it going, man? Glad you could make it to the stream. Hey, man, I'm just trying to be as honest and transparent as I can be. I think that's important. Denelli says we're pretty blessed to have decent night shots. Most great photos uses great light, anyways. No one takes pictures in the dead of night. That's a fair point. That is, but then you think about times when like when I'm at a bar, right? Or I'm at like a birthday thing and we're all at I don't go to clubs anymore. I'm too old for that shit. But I'm usually at a bar. I usually like to go to dive bars or I go to like beer cades and stuff. And sometimes we're in a group and it's night and we want to take shots together. And sometimes they're not the best. And you got to pull the right phone for that. And for me, that's the iPhone 11 Pro. That's usually what I pull out when I'm doing that. Gandex says wide angle is the best for Navy Pier downtown shots. Chicagoans will know what I'm talking about. Of course. Gandex, if you didn't know I'm from Chicago, I think I've said that. I think you know that. But yeah, obviously, I mean, it's such a huge area there and there's so much to take, especially if you get on the Ferris wheel, then yeah, that wide angle shot would come out awesome. I'm sure it would. So let's see. Chimchar 545. Hey, welcome to the stream, man. Glad you can make it. Hashtag toaster filter. Am I not? I think I'm missing something. I'm not sure what filter that is, but yeah. Anyway, welcome to the chat or welcome to the stream. Glad you can make it. Yeah, thanks. Glad to be here. Yeah, glad you can make it, man. So, Will says Apple should drop the SE2 now. Yeah, if they did and they said, hey, it's gonna have the iPhone 11 shooter, it's gonna be a great deal. for $400. It's going to be a great deal. So let me see here. There isn't much more I want to talk about with the OnePlus 8. I think I've given a lot of my feedback on it and how I feel about it, but I will summarize it. I'll kind of give a little like synopsis or however I feel at the end. But this article from The Verge, I always pull up stuff from The Verge because they're pretty good with their info. Sometimes their biases show, but that's okay. I think all of our biases show. So OnePlus 8 Pro review, big league. It's finally taking the Samsung Galaxy on feature for feature. The OnePlus 8 Pro is the result of a relentless spec battle with Samsung. It's an Android phone that spares almost no expense in the quest to include the most powerful, best hardware components. The result is the fastest Android phone experience money can buy, starting at $899. Very expensive. Very expensive. That's all I can say. That price is simultaneously high and low. $900 is a lot for a OnePlus phone, but it's still less expensive than its direct competition. For years, OnePlus succeeded with a two-pronged strategy of appealing to Android enthusiasts while undercutting the competition on price. And see, I feel like that's not the case today. I think it still covers the whole appeal to Android enthusiasts by giving a great um, experience. It's the reason I fell in love with OnePlus, because it has a great stock experience, but that price now is making me say, well, now we're in the same boat. We're all in the same expensive as boat that we didn't want to pay a ticket for, but we're on here now. And there's no denying that a $900 phone is expensive no matter which company makes it. Samsung's Galaxy line is the gold standard, not necessarily because it's the best Android phone, but because it's the most ubiquitous and trustworthy. The Galaxy is the default because it doesn't lack any major feature, is reliably good, and is sold by every major carrier. I don't completely agree with that statement there. But I can understand where they're coming from. The regular OnePlus 8 costs less and is being sold in both Verizon and T-Mobile stores. Oh, actually, that's the one thing. I wasn't sure if it was getting sold in T-Mobile still, but that's good to know. It's the mainstream device most people will see, and you should read John Porter's review of it here. The OnePlus 8 Pro is online only, and it has a different job. Beat the Samsung Galaxy S20. So the OnePlus 8 Pro looks like The Verge gave it an 8.5. Excellent build quality, superb screen, and speedy wireless charging. The bad stuff is only available in one size. Huge. It's actually a really good statement there. Color camera is a pointless gimmick. Below average dim light photography. So here we go. I'm not saying The Verge is always right, but it's hard for me to not argue those statements, especially going through looking at the camera results right now. To see the color camera filter or whatever is a pointless gimmick. I can't sit here and just agree completely, but it's hard not to disagree. The only way I can agree is if I tried it out myself. But it is what it is showing here, but the thing that gets me here is the below average dim light photography. So here we go again. If we're talking about the OnePlus 8 Pro, now you're paying $900 for a phone that has a ton of things that's going for it. But again, low light photography, night shooting is going to be its hindrance. So make sure, if you want to spend that $900, two things. If you want to spend that $900, go for it. But just know that the camera is probably not going to be on par with the iPhone 11 Pro. And the other point is, if you want to buy this $900 phone because you want that high speed wireless charging, make sure that you have another $75, because you cannot take advantage of that technology unless you buy that proprietary wireless charging dock. So we're not talking about $900 anymore. We're talking about around $975. At that point, you're paying almost $1,000 for a phone to give you that fast wireless charging with a subpar camera and not all of the 5G capabilities that I haven't talked about yet, which I was saving for a little later. So let's see here. That size is my main complaint about the hardware. It's an incredibly well-built phone with fit and finish that stands up against both the Galaxy S20 and the iPhone. I have the blue version for review, and it has a handsome 2-layer matte finish that reflects the light nicely. That camera bump is centered and overly large, but what camera bump isn't these days, really? So yeah, talking about the size, I want to get into the camera because now I'm really interested how they feel about it. So, with apologies to the new fast wireless charging feature, the standout feature on the OnePlus 8 Pro is the display. It is superb in its quest to leave no spec unincluded. It has unlocked a full 120 hertz refresh rate that can be paired with its full 3168 by 1440 resolution QHD plus. If you haven't used a phone with a high refresh rate screen, my advice is to not do so until you can upgrade. So that's great to hear that it does so well that they're looking at it and saying, no, this actually does make a difference. So that's good to see. I'm glad to hear that, especially with the display that's touted as one of the best. OnePlus added a couple of gimmicky screen features for watching videos. One is Vibrant Color Effect Pro. I'm not too worried about that. And the other is motion graphic smoothing. So this motion graphic smoothing, that MEMC, I think is what it is. I'm glad that you can turn that off because that MEMC reminds me of when you can turn that smoothing effect on a large screen TV or a big screen TV, and then it makes a movie look like it's a soap opera. I hate that feature. I hate it. And I was scared that the OnePlus 8 Pro was going to add this feature in here and not give you the option to turn it off. But watching that event, you can turn it off, and I'm glad. So good thing. I can't blame them for calling that gimmicky because I don't care for something like that. But maybe it has a good use. The one thing I do like about big screen TVs and that smoothing, that 120 hertz motion feature or whatever, smoothing feature on TVs is that it's good for sports. It's good for watching like football games or like MMA. I think then it looks a lot more smoother. It looks more realistic. That is the only use case scenario I have for that. So, battery life, neither impressed nor seriously disappointed. I can see that because of the display, especially. Let's get to the camera because that's really what I want to see here. Okay. Until last year's OnePlus 7 Pro, the story with OnePlus phones has always been the same. Great phone, meh camera. That doesn't fly at the prices OnePlus is charging for the 8 Pro, and fortunately, the company has delivered a very respectable but not perfect camera. There is the usual 3-lens array of wide, telephoto, and ultra wide. On most phones, the ultra wide gets short shrift in terms of sensor quality, but not on the 8 Pro. So again, I'm giving that plus to the 8 Pro. You're getting an ultra wide camera that probably has a better sensor than any of the ultra wide sensors that are out today, which is great. It's using the same sensor as last year's 7T, which means the ultra wide is notably better than the competition. Kudos. OnePlus 8 Pro on the left, iPhone 11 Pro on the right. Okay, so iPhone 11 Pro, OnePlus 8 Pro. This has a little more punch to it in terms of color. This also has a wider angle. That's why I was getting a little confused here. Sorry guys, like my eye is just like trying to figure stuff out. I mean, they look pretty similar. I see more detail here on the iPhone 11 Pro when it comes to like I can't point at it because I can only go left and right here. But if you look at the surface, right, the road, you can see there's a little more detail on the iPhone 11 Pro. It's not like a deal breaker, obviously, right? The blues are different too. It's a lot deeper and richer on the iPhone 11 Pro, but they're both good shots, especially during the day. But see, it's the ultra wide lens. I don't know. It doesn't. I would have to really zoom in and dig down, and I can't do that. But not here at least. But I don't know. They're both good ultra wide cameras. So the telephoto lens can do lossless zoom at 3 times, not true optical like the Galaxy S20 Ultra, but I didn't miss the ultra zoom. The OnePlus 8 Pro comports itself about as well as the Pixel 4 or iPhone 11 Pro at around 8 times zoom. OnePlus lets you dial in to as much as 30 times, but anything over 10 is a mess. Okay, we're going to move past that. Strangely, the hard part isn't in very dark conditions anymore. All modern phones have some sort of long exposure night mode, and the OnePlus 8 Pro is no exception. It held its own against the competition, and in a couple of cases, it was actually my favorite. Similarly, the OnePlus 8 Pro might be the most fun I've had taking macro shots. There you go, macro shots with a phone. Not only can you get super close to your subject, the level of detail really is quite good. That's good to know. I mean, we were sitting here talking about macro shots, and I was like, I don't know, but maybe it's doing something right here. Are we gonna see night shots? Now we're gonna see. Oh, is this color filter? This is okay. No, I mean, I don't know. Maybe there are better uses for it, but I could do this stuff on my editing software if I really wanted to. I mean, I guess I could see it yeah, it's different, right? It's not just adding a filter. You can actually manipulate certain colors. I don't know. I don't know. Um, so it handles video fairly decently. I like that you can use OnePlus's super stable video option even when shooting at full 4K 30. But I found the quality to be fairly average. Here we go again. The main issue I have is just how good is this camera going to be for a $900 phone? Average is actually ahead of many Android phones. Hey there, Pixel 4. Fair enough, but it still isn't but it still isn't quite as good as what you'll get with an iPhone 11 Pro. iPhone 11 Pro is the gold standard, if you ask me. That's why the iPhone 11 Pro was my phone of the year for 2019. That's why it was my favorite camera for that year, because it just outperformed the Pixel 4 in so many areas, especially low light. And that's where the biggest difference is. That's where the biggest difference in most phones are today. You want to see who has the balls in a phone, a camera phone, it's how well do they work at night. So let's see here. Like every other phone, the OnePlus 8 Pro seems to make an effort to clean up human faces, evening the lighting, lifting the brightness, and smoothing skin ever so slightly. I don't love that this happens, but when it's done well, I don't mind it too much. And in most lighting conditions, OnePlus does it well. But for whatever reason, when the lights are low, this camera trips over itself. That's not what I really want to hear. So the OnePlus 8 Pro on the left, the Samsung Galaxy S20 on the right. OnePlus is just as guilty as Samsung at softening faces. It's good to know, but it's exasperated in low light. Oh my god, yeah, look at that. So this is the Galaxy S20 here. This is in a lot more detail, and this is the OnePlus 8 Pro. Is it softening it, or is it just because it can't? Holy cow, that's so soft on the fit. Like there's no, like, his hair is like his mustache is like blended into his skin. That is, yeah, no, that's not. I mean, even if you look at the hair isn't as detailed, it's not as fine as what you're seeing on the S20. And I guess that doesn't speak much about the S20 when it's already softening the face as it is. I don't want to overemphasize this issue with a little fiddling. You can get good dim light shots. It just takes an extra attempt when the competition would have nailed it the first time. And I think that's the important thing there. That's something I talk about a lot, and that's consistency. And in every other lighting condition, it's been sharp, accurate, and fun to use. So that's great. Every other lighting condition, just like every other goddamn phone. Give it good lighting, you're gonna get a decent shot. Show me something where I have difficult lighting where, you know, it's gonna separate itself from the rest. So let's see here. Are they gonna show me night shots? There's no night shots. What is all this? God damn it. I wanted night shots. I really did. Somebody's eventually gonna have it and I'll get to go through it. But yeah. So uh this article from 95 Google. I'm not going to get into that right now. I did, yeah, that's right. I also wanted to point out, and Hackney Man pointed that out yesterday, right? I think it was Hackney Man that pointed out yesterday that OnePlus no longer has a shelf. It just has the Google Discover, or the Google feed when you swipe to the right. You guys know what I'm talking about, right? Hopefully. Um, is it a feature though that they took away? Like, is it completely gone? The OnePlus 8 and 8 Pro ship with the Google Discover feed as the leftmost page on the launcher, completely replacing the old OnePlus shelf. Yeah, which is a great thing. I'm glad that they did that. I wasn't a big fan of the shelf. If you guys were, I'm sorry, RIP. It's gone. But yeah. Okay. Last thing I want to talk about. Oh, I should go through chat. I'm sorry, guys. Oh God, there's a Levin Williams with the $5 super chat. Glad to see a YouTuber being honest. Hey man, I appreciate that. I don't like to sugarcoat things. I don't, it's funny. I always tell the story when Google gave me a Pixel 3 for free. that was a big highlight for me because I've always been a big Google fan. And after they gave me that Pixel 3, they gave me the free wireless dock, wireless charging dock. They gave me like a case, and I think you guys saw it. It came in like this big party box that a lot of YouTubers got. But I think I had a video shortly after that said my screen got fucked up. Like my screen turned green and it was shitty and whatever. And I called it out. And I remember my friend, he had texted me after he saw that video. He's like, God damn, he's like, Google gives you a free phone and you still won't get on your knees. And I'm like, no, because I think it's important as a YouTuber, as an influencer who helps people pick something, who helps people make a big purchase, to make sure that you bring out the facts. Yes, am I biased on things? Probably. I love stock Android. I don't like anything but stock Android. I wear that bias on my sleeve, but at least you know that. If you don't agree with me, that's fine. Like, you don't have to like stock Android. You can like whatever you want, but I think at least I can see both sides to a story, right? I'm here, saying, macro lens, color filter, whatever. But if you can find a good use for it, if it's useful for you, that's great. But I'm also going to say, if I don't like it, I don't like it. But Levin, thank you for the $5 super chat. I appreciate you adding that extra support. I really do. For everybody else, for you guys who are new, if you're just stopping by, this stream is lasting a lot longer than I thought. But if you guys are new and stopping by, please feel free to like the video. It helps me in the algorithm. Hopefully, it helps people find my channel. I am a small YouTuber who has been trying to do this full time, on and off, for a while. I am a freelance photographer, videographer. I work in news media, freelance and independent news thing. And I just, I'm trying to get by not falling into the whole corporate marketing gimmick, and just trying to do it on my own. So, any help is appreciated. So I do appreciate you guys stopping by, chatting, being in here for support. Let me go through the rest of this chat here. I see not Ilyas. Did I say that right? 900 is too much. Goddamn, 900 is too much. It's way too much. I will kind of get into that as we end this here, but I agree with you. It's a lot of money. My Galaxy is T-Mobile. Hey, Daniel, welcome to the chat. Appreciate you stopping by. How's it going, man? Glad you can make it. So let's see here. Samsung Knights getting on their horses. I hear them. Okay, so let's see. Sorry guys, I'm just going through this. Dunelli says, God, I hate the soap opera effect. I'm totally with you. I know people who turn that effect on when they want to watch a movie, and I'm like, why are we watching the movie like this? This is not, if somebody wanted to make a movie in that smoothing effect, then they would have shot the movie in 60 frames a second, not 23. Right? Not 20 or 23 24 frames a second. But yes, I'm with you. I'm not in it either. Big House says, hey, Big House, welcome to the chat. Welcome to the stream. That's always what I mean to say, but also welcome to the chat. Good to see it has wireless charging, but only 5 watt on standard chargers. Yes, that's such a big, the one thing I love that OnePlus can charge their phones super quick, but I hate that because I own multiple phones, that if I want to charge OnePlus and use the super fast wired charging, I always have to carry the red cable and the brick with me. It is an annoyance, but this is how they get you, and this is how they're going to do it too with wireless charging. But Big House, welcome, man. Appreciate you stopping by. Let's see here. So let's see. Chimchar says, haven't paid attention to OnePlus since the OnePlus 2, and wow, they have come a long way. These OnePlus 8 specs are ridiculous. They are. They're very high end. They are. I don't agree with the price, but they're going to be great phones performance wise. You're going to be able to use them, and you're probably going to be able to use them for a long time. It's just, again, my issue here is with the camera. That's my issue. That's so soft. That's what she said. I wish, what I need to do is I need to pull up clips where I just play clips when I feel like it's time. I'm wondering if beauty mode's on. Is that a thing on OnePlus? Do they have or are you saying with that Samsung one where I showed it? I don't know. I have no idea. I I only buy used phones 200 to 300 range. You're like me. That's actually where I'm trying to go with now. I'm just trying to like get my phones at really good prices and try to find the best deals that I can. So I hear you there. Okay, so let me kind of finish this off, guys. So I have this article here from Talk Android. This is the last point I wanted to get with, or this is the last point I wanted to get into with the OnePlus 8 and OnePlus 8 Pro. Here are the details on the expensive Verizon 5G OnePlus 8. During today's OnePlus 8 announcement, OnePlus mentioned a Verizon exclusive millimeter wave variant of the OnePlus 8. This is the first OnePlus phone that Verizon has officially carried, which is a big deal, but it'll also be the only millimeter wave OnePlus 8 phone available. I will say that again. It will be the only millimeter wave OnePlus 8 phone available. Are you paying $900 for this OnePlus 8 Pro? Do you want to use it on Verizon? You're not going to be able to use it with its millimeter wave. You're not going to be able to get the fastest 5G on it. So make sure before you buy that phone, if you're buying it because you want 5G and you want to take advantage of Verizon's millimeter wave, whatever, you're not going to get it. So, but that millimeter wave comes at a price and you're paying an extra $100 for it. Oh shit, I didn't know that. Verizon is slapping an extra $100 for its Verizon variant for millimeter wave. Fuck you, Verizon. That's such bullshit that you would do that to your consumers. So now instead of $699, you're paying $800 to just get that extra feature that doesn't even work that great. It's not even widely accepted yet, and you're charging an extra $100. Fuck you, Verizon. Instead of the bigger configuration, so you're only going to get the 8 gig, 128 gig model, or 8 gig RAM, 128 gigs of internal storage. Considering millimeter wave radios are more expensive, this does make sense. No, it doesn't. It doesn't make sense. Verizon makes a ton. They make a shit ton of money. They make a fuck ton of money. You going to Verizon, you're already sticking yourself on a contract. They're already trapping you, so you pay them money. And now you're going to pay extra on top of that. I bet you Verizon is probably putting some bloatware on their phones. Maybe. I could be wrong. I'm wondering if they're slapping Verizon's logo on the OnePlus 8. I wouldn't be surprised if they were to do that. I'm sorry. That was a really big rant there, but I didn't realize this was happening. On the bright side, Verizon is running some deals to make this a little sweeter. Yeah, while they trap you in their little plan for however long. There's always Verizon's installment billing, which makes the phone $33 a month. If you guys don't know how I feel about monthly payments, I don't think that should be a thing. You should have enough money to buy a phone outright. If you don't, you should probably look at buying another phone. We were just talking about paying $200 to $300 for a used phone. That's probably your best bet. Spend money on an unlocked phone that's carrier free and you don't get trapped into this weird phone payment plan. Oh, I'm just paying an extra 18, 28, 38. Like, when does it stop? When has your phone become your car payment? When has your phone become your rent payment or your mortgage? This is bullshit. No. Again, I'm being transparent. I'm telling you how I feel about it. You guys don't have to agree, and I totally understand. All of us here, we all have different views on it, but okay. Additionally, if you're willing to switch over to Verizon, trade in a phone, and get an unlimited data plan, however much that's going to be, they'll knock $700 off the price, bringing it down to just $100. So yeah, obviously they're subsidizing it so you get into their plan and you stay with them and whatever. That's not so bad. That's what this article says. I don't like it. I don't like these manipulation like games that people play to get you to stick with them for X amount of months or whatever. But anyway, if you don't care about the extra storage or RAM, this one's definitely going to be the definitive version of the phone to get just for the faster connection speeds when it's supported. But if you do care about that storage or you're just trying to save some money, well, you've got a hard decision to make. That shouldn't be hard. Don't get it. Don't get it. If you want millimeter wave, wait for something else that will work with millimeter wave. Don't buy it right now. Don't spend that $800. Don't spend an extra $100 just for millimeter wave. That's ridiculous. And to be carrier locked, don't do it. Also, it sounds like Verizon has an exclusive deal on the OnePlus 8 this year, so don't be surprised if the other carriers don't end up carrying the phone. Didn't The Verge say that T-Mobile is going to have it too, though? I also wouldn't expect to see the OnePlus 8 Pro launch on any US carriers either. Give me 1 second here, guys, because I want to go into Verizon's website and I just want to see them talk about the OnePlus 8 Pro if it's on here. Phones. Nope. Let me see. 1 Sorry, I'm just not OnePlus 8 Pro, OnePlus 8. This isn't even the Pro. You're getting the OnePlus 8 for Verizon with their smaller variant of 8 gigs RAM, 128 gigs of internal storage. So, here we go, guys. Here we go. This is what I wanted to pull up. Okay, so OnePlus 8 5G UW, this is what it's being called. OnePlus 8 5G UW is coming to Verizon, but not the Pro. And there's a logo on the back. There you go. There you go. You want to be with Verizon? Well, let us just slap this on you because we just want to add insult to injury. So to think that to think that Verizon or to think that OnePlus would bend over to say, Verizon, please use us on your carrier, please use us. Okay, well we want to charge $100 more, right? We want to slap our logo on it. I don't know about bloatware yet, but I also wouldn't be surprised. Real quick, the rumors are true. OnePlus has struck a deal with Verizon Wireless to bring its Android smartphones to the biggest carrier in the United States. The catch, only the regular OnePlus 8 is heading to Verizon, and it's going to have some branding. Here's the good news. The OnePlus 8 is going to offer the same snap. Yeah, we know this. It also includes full support for 5G networks with both millimeter wave support and sub-6 support for the network coming this year. The OnePlus 8, blah, blah, blah. The bad news, the rumors of bloatware seem to have been true. Here we go. Here we go. Hey, OnePlus, you want to bring the OnePlus 8 here? Well, we only want the 8 gig RAM, 128 gig version. We want to put our 5G, Verizon logo on it. Can we also put our own bloatware on it? Because we want to make it worth our while. We want to make it worth our while, and we want you to bend over right now. OnePlus is like, yes. Pete Lau's like, okay, like let's go, let's do it. Oh, and yeah, and we want to charge an extra $100 on top of the phone. Extra $100. This is an awful deal. Is that a big deal? I don't really think so. Who wrote this article? Ben Schoon. You guys look at things as a lot of guys look at things as a business perspective. I don't like thinking that way. I like to think for the consumer, for someone like me, for people in the chat, for people who work hard for their money and lets companies like this profit off of us like in gross amounts. That's what bothers me. And is that a big deal? He doesn't think so. I think so. I think that's a big deal. I think this is a shitty deal. I would never recommend this deal to anybody. Don't waste your money on a Verizon version of the OnePlus 8. I mean, if you do, that's your decision. This is how I feel about it. I just don't think it's worth the price. That's it. That's all I wanted to share. This is a lot of info, guys. I know we've kind of been going through this for a while. This is a long stream today. Let me go through chat real quick. God, I don't know if I can really go through all this right now, guys, but I do appreciate you guys stopping by today. 6 says Ortega 2020. Will says, you didn't call it an abortion of a phone. Let's see here. I've always used Android and disliked iOS. Maybe it's time I convert. I use a MacBook Pro. Here's the thing, Dinelli. I use a MacBook Pro also. I am not the biggest fan of iOS. I don't know. I'm still not a big fan of iOS to this day, but it does a lot of things right. There's no bloatware like we were just reading. And it's kind of an overall great package. Yes, it's not perfect. No phone is, but if you ask me what camera I pull out of my phone or what camera I pull out of my pocket every time I'm in a quick snap a picture situation, it is my iPhone 11 Pro. That's one of the biggest reasons I own one, but that's me. Okay, so let's see here. Oh, yeah. So Denelli, millimeter wave, yeah, it's their faster version of 5G. So, but for you to use it, you got to be paying extra money. You gotta be paying extra money for it. Yeah, Levin says Verizon is garbage for doing customers like that. Yeah, and the thing is, not only are they garbage for that, but most people don't even know that. They don't realize that. Most people are going to walk into Verizon whenever this OnePlus 8 gets there, and they're going to be like, $800. That's not bad. When they know that they could probably buy one for and they don't know that they could buy one for $700. That's the problem. I think that's such a ripoff. It really is. Okay, so Brian says, "Welcome to the Verizon prostitution ring. OnePlus 5G branded, bloated, and pimp slapped. Up another $100." That's such a good way to put it. That's such a good way to put it. Mint Arcade says, "I hope OnePlus don't aim to lead with speed to go out of relevance." Okay. All right, guys, I'm about to end the stream, but let me kind of finalize this here. The OnePlus 8 and OnePlus 8 Pro. I'm glad to see the event come out today. I think the event was done really well despite not having an audience. I feel like that actually was a much better experience than what I've seen in past performances. There was no weird musical event. There was no weird, awkward, should I clap now? Should I clap later kind of deal. The OnePlus 8 and 8 Pro are awesome spec performing phones. I think both of those phones have such great specs on them as far as build quality, as far as performance. They're going to kill it. They're going to kill it in those sectors. They have great battery life, performance wise. We're talking about a stock Android experience, which is one of my favorites. The thing about these phones is you can have these phones and they're going to last you a good long while. My OnePlus 6T still performs really well, still super fast, super smooth. And now we have something like the OnePlus 8 Pro that's going to have an even better display, one of the best displays that's out there. Great. Love it. Love the colors. I love that green color. I actually love that interstellar glow. That would be the one I would pick if I were to buy a OnePlus 8. If I were to get an 8 Pro, it would be the glacial green. Wireless charging. I'm great to see that, or I'm happy to see that on the OnePlus 8 Pro. It's too bad they're not putting it on the OnePlus 8. Here are the things though. I think the price at $699 for the OnePlus 8 and $899 for the OnePlus 8 Pro are overpriced. You can disagree with me, but OnePlus has I think moved away from a lot of their roots in terms of keeping a decently priced phone with a bang for your buck experience. Like that's gone now. I can't say that either of these phones are bang for your buck. Are they cheaper? Are they cheaper than what most phones are right now? Yes, absolutely. They're cheaper, but not by a lot at this point. So I can't call it a bang for your buck. Would I recommend one? I think in a lot of ways I would, if the camera is not your main concern. I haven't seen enough camera comparisons yet, but I still don't think that, well, the OnePlus 8 certainly not, but I don't think the OnePlus 8 Pro is going to match what the iPhone 11 Pro offers today. I still don't think it's up there. Yes, the ultra wide camera having nightscape is probably going to be better than what the iPhone 11 Pro gives you in terms of an ultra wide shot at night. But other than that, for its main shooter, I think the iPhone 11 Pro is still going to be the top dog for now. If you're going to be buying a OnePlus 8 Pro for $900, yes, you're going to get great performance and speed and a great UI, and it's going to have great battery life and great battery charging, wireless included. I just don't hold your breath on the camera. And I guess there are other little things too, right? I mean, none of these phones are perfect. I don't know how the haptic feedback is going to be on here. I think OnePlus has always been a sore spot for me too, has been in the haptics, but apparently it has a version 2.0. So I don't know if that's better. If it is or it isn't, I don't know. Take a look at other deals still. For $699 or for $899, there still might be other phones that might be worth your money at a cheaper price with better, I guess, a better overall experience. I don't know. I would have loved to see the OnePlus 8 price at $599. Would have been a killer price. The OnePlus 8 Pro, I don't know. if the cam I would have agreed more with the OnePlus 8 Pro's price if the camera was so good that the iPhone 11 Pro, if it was already being tested. If that $900 price tag, I would agree with. If the camera on it, if they said, "Hey, like this is iPhone 11, um, iPhone 11 like competitiveness, especially at night," because that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about night. I'm talking about low light. If it compared there, then I would have said, "Damn, okay, maybe we can get it at that price." But again, $900 for a OnePlus 8 Pro, um, you're still not paying $900 for fast wireless charging. You're paying $975. Let's get that straight too. You're paying almost $1,000 now because to take advantage of that fast charging, you need to buy that wireless dock from OnePlus, that proprietary dock. So you're not paying $900. You're paying almost $1,000. You're paying $975. So you want to take advantage of everything the OnePlus 8 Pro gives you, $975. Like, let's not sugarcoat that. That's the truth. Don't be telling me that you paid $900 for that phone, then brag about wireless charging and then not have the wireless charging dock, or at least fast wireless charging, because you can still charge it on, a slower charger or whatever, but you're not going to get that speed. So, but yeah, that's about it, guys. That's kind of where I want to leave it here. I do see a couple other people in chat that I haven't seen. I see Brian with the $1 super chat. Brian, thanks again. Thanks so much. Brian's always a huge supporter. Brian, thanks again. Thanks to everybody who stopped by. If you guys haven't already, please feel free to like the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. I do stream Monday through Friday at around noon Central Time here, Monday through Friday. Let me just kind of go through the rest of the chat. I see Thomas Byers here. Thomas, hey, thanks for making the stream. Appreciate you stopping by. The phones may have been less expensive if they weren't such high tariffs with the trade war. That's also a great point as well. I mean, who knows what that could have gone for if all of that didn't happen. I don't know the politics too well into that, but I hear you. I do hear you with that. Okay, so let's see. Mint Arcade says OnePlus is clearing, moving far away from their niche, and as they go higher in price, yeah, it's really putting everybody in the same category now. So I don't know. Big House says give it a couple of months and they will drop in price. I hope. Fingers crossed. I hope so too. Big House. Let me see. Denelli says, what do you think about the new MacBook Air, Jerome? Thinking of upgrading my 13-inch MacBook Pro, reduce weight and performance upgrade. I don't know. I actually haven't done a lot of reviews or research on it. So maybe I'll take a look at it. I would love to upgrade mine. I just don't have the money for it right now, but I'll take a look at it. What year is your MacBook Pro? Mine's a 2015. I don't know if yours is the same, but I'll take a look and see. I mean, it also depends what you do, right? So for me on my MacBook Pro, it's mostly just, web surfing and whatever. And I use it for Lightroom to edit my photos when I'm editing raw on the go. I've actually used it too to edit video, which takes horribly slow, but it actually still works for something that's this old. But yeah, I guess it also depends on what you're using it for, but we'll talk. Okay, guys. Sorry, there's I'm trying to keep up. Big House with the $5 super chat. Hey man, thanks so much. Big House says great content and information. Keep grinding. Big House, thank you so much, man. Guys, thank you so much for the super chats. It means so much to me. I really do appreciate it. Thank you for taking that extra time and going out of your way to even support, especially with everything going on right now. I know tough times are tough and wallets are tight, and that does mean a lot to me. So thank you, Big House. Thank you guys so much. 2013, Denelli. So yeah, that's older than mine. Maybe it's time to upgrade. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, guys. Okay. So, that's about it. So I'm going to leave it there. This time I'm going to have a proper outro and, make sure that it's just not me staring at the screen. But, guys, thank you again so much. If you guys haven't already, I do, stream Monday through Friday at 12 p.m. Central. Sorry, I'm just trying to get everything set up here. And, yeah, if you guys haven't already, feel free to check out my Instagram and my Twitter. I'm pretty active on those. You can find me at Phone Jerome. It's also at the bottom, right underneath me there. You can check me out there. I'm pretty active. I post almost daily. Well, maybe not lately. I've been really busy, but yeah, I'll see you guys. Oh, it's only Tuesday. I lose track of what days are because just everything's all the same since we're stuck at home all day. But everybody, be safe. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hopefully, there's going to be a good amount of news to go through. And that's it. This is a much longer stream than I thought. So, okay, guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good one. Take care. Do I have to go back into the stream? I have to go back into the stream. I was about to walk away, and then I see Levin here with the $10 super. Levin, man, what the hell? Levin Williams with the $10 super chat. Stay safe and healthy. Levin, thanks so much. Holy cow. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, man. Holy shit. Wow. Thank you for supporting. Thank you for being a part of this chat. Thank you for being a part of the stream. Guys, I appreciate you guys so much. Yeah, Danelli says, why is he still here? Because Levin just dropped a $10 super chat. I wasn't gonna walk away from that. Yeah, thank you so much, man. Guys, thank you again. I'm gonna redo this outro because I'm about to go. So again, thank you so much. Levin means a lot to me. Your help and support helps me make sure that it motivates me to keep doing this day after day and try to like build and do better things and kind of like engage with chat and do more. So thanks again, guys. I'm restarting the stream. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye, guys. Bye.